Welcome back to a new episode of Business Beyond the Game. I'm your host, Eric Jackson, and I'm pleased to have on a very special guest who've made the long trip from Dutchland to New York City. I'm pleased to have on angel investor, tech entrepreneur, and German soccer star, Mario Götze. Mario, what's going on, man?
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure. Very good. All okay, yeah.
Oh, yeah. How's the city treating you?
Very good so far. We are only here for 2 days, unfortunately, but hopefully coming back anytime soon. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You know, I feel like, Mario, people know you as one of the best soccer players in Germany, but you're also one of the country's most active investors. You know, you've invested in, more than 40 startups through your personal venture arm, Companion M. Curious your thoughts on just what are you looking at, right, when you're looking at these early stage companies? You know, I know you get pitch deck after pitch deck. Just, what do you look at?
Normally, the most important thing for me is the founder, because I see similarities to me as an athlete. I want to speak to the founders, speak to the team, get to understand their vision, because in the end, it's early stage investing. You have to believe in the team, in the founder, in the vision. So I think that's the most important thing for me. And it's just great to have these exchanges, these conversations, because it reminds me a bit of myself when I was a young athlete, and I needed support, and I needed advice, and I needed just a team who helps me build my dream. So that's it in the end. Yeah,
I love that. Just sort of, is it the trust factor, you would say, just that foundation of meeting the founder and getting that pitch? Yeah.
I mean, of course, you have to look at all the other factors as well, the numbers, the idea, the team, all the other investors who are investing with me, co-investing with me. So I think it's probably as important as the other parts, but I think the founder and the team is the most important aspect for me. Yeah.
So you tell me, Mario, what's more satisfying, getting a double-digit return on a successful exit, or scoring a goal in a 90th minute?
I would still go with the goal, but I know this is finite. I only can play a couple of more years, and maybe then in a couple of years I enjoy the other part a bit more. Yeah,
that's good. It's been 10 years since your epic extra time goal to lift Germany over Argentina in the World Cup final. What has transpired in your life and your career that has motivated you to build your life off the pitch as a angel investor or an entrepreneur?
I mean, in general, for me, soccer always comes first. Of course, that's the most important thing, because I know you only have these 10, 15 years on that level where you can play, and that's finite, that you have that moment where you have to stop playing. So I try to enjoy it as much as I can. But at the same time, I know that there's more to it. There's more to soccer, outside of the pitch, and that's what I've tried to build next to it, with a team of people with different expertise. Because in the end, I know I don't have the expertise in all these areas, so I need a good and trusted network, and that's what I've tried to do the last couple of years. And I want to allocate more energy and time when I'm finished.
Yeah, no, I feel like you started young though, right? I feel like most people wait until their mid 30s and late 30s, what kind of gave you that sort of inspiration? Was it one day at the pitch you were like, man, I got to start looking at build my portfolio, or, you know what I mean? Did it hit you one day? When you were like, man, I got to look off the pitch for some opportunity?
I would say there was not a single moment, but I think more like a phase in my career when my contract ran out in Dortmund. I had this phase when I moved to Eindhoven, to Netherlands, where I played for 2 years and got my first child. So then it started within me to there's something more I need to do more than just playing soccer, also for my family and for what I've done on the pitch. So that's probably the moment where I thought about it, and I started to really try to understand the asset classes, from venture capital, private equity to all the other assets. So that's where it started.
I love, here in the city, we call them chopped cheeses. They're you go to the bodega, they're not good for you, right? Burger meats and stuff like that. And I'm sure you have a cleaner diet, but I'm curious, nutrition is just such an important part of being a first-class athlete. And, I know you've invested in wellness companies and, quality food care companies and, like Coro and others. And, I'm curious your thoughts on how important is it to invest into brands that, directly impact your life, right? That firsthand that, on a deeper level.
I think it's important. For me, I define these like two pillars for me. I think one is like very like close to what I do as an athlete, what's my profession, where I can have a direct impact and expertise, where I can like give more energy and more advice.
Right.
And the second part is like more like outside of the soccer part. So where I need expertise, where I need a trusted network to really understand these companies, the numbers and everything.
Yeah.
So I think these two pillars have I defined for my company and my strategy.
Because you do feel like they're like different buckets. Because you had the sports media, you invested in sports media company, you've invested in, wellness, health, and then you have like the climate, right, and Web3 investment. So do you look at them in two different, or would you just put them all in the same bucket?
I would say there are like industry-wise, I have four themes. The first one is like is more like SaaS and tech.
Yeah.
The second is climate and health. And then you have a fourth bucket, which is like more opportunistic, where I get to know the founder and have a good feeling about it. So that's probably the fourth bucket. So these are the segments I'm looking at. And of course, when it comes to soccer, nutrition, wellness, all this kind of stuff, where I have an expertise on when I experienced it by myself, it's a bit more easier to give advice than in the other industries for sure. Yeah.
And now obviously you're starring for Eintracht Frankfurt, and balancing your duties as a father as well. And when you're looking at your future down the path, right, Mario? Like you've done well as a young investor now, but I'm curious how well you can do when you're no longer having to wake up to get to the training ground or get prepared for the match, right? How much have you just thought about how successful you can become when soccer's not your day job?
My day job. I think I will definitely allocate more time and energy to it. I think that will hopefully boost my portfolio in some ways, but we'll see. I mean, like you mentioned, it's still a bit too early to judge everything. So for me, when I started, especially angel investing with venture capital, I knew I need a time horizon of 10, 12, 15 years to really understand the space, to make good bets, to make good deals. I think that's very important. And so I will definitely allocate more time and energy, and then we see what's possible. But I try to apply the same like attitude and have the same will and energy to what I do as an athlete. I want to invest the same in venture capital and private equity for sure.
Here in the States, and all of these bobbleheads here, a lot of them are investors themselves, and I know you've studied American athletes and their path to entrepreneurship. How much have you seen just a culture difference, right, from American athletes here transitioning into business versus back in Europe? I'm curious your thoughts on, do you think athletes are typically waiting till retirement in Europe versus here, where more guys are more prevalent, starting to get investing chops earlier in their careers?
I think it's like with a lot of things in Europe. I think we are lacking a bit behind, like 5 to 10 years, because when I looked at all the other players here, they started like 15 years ago. For them, it's just normal to do that.
Right.
That's fairly. I did the same. I just looked what the American athletes are doing here and what they have built already, like their venture arms, their private equity firms, and so on. And I think it just takes more time, also due to the situation in Europe with different cultures, different languages, etc., etc. So it takes more time in Europe, but I think there's a momentum right now, and there's a bit of a movement in the athlete sector where more athletes are on cap tables. They try to understand the business part a bit more, and you also see the American agencies and American investors coming to Europe. So I think it goes both ways.
Yeah, I'm sure you're trying to be an example, right, of what can be for everyone too.
I try to.
At least you're trying to be, right?
We'll see. Let's talk in a couple of years, and then we'll see.
Mario, you've been on the cover of video games. You've done Nike commercials, murals. What else off the pitch that you hope to still accomplish at this point in your career? Side missions, as we call them. What other side missions do you have that you want to?
I think in general there are just two things for sure. It's like my brand commercials to build a relationship with, for example, Nike or Hyundai or Revolut and other sponsors, to build lasting relationships, like more than just 1-2 years when I'm active. And the second part is venture capital, angel investing, to build relationship, to build a network, to understand it a bit better. I think because with soccer, with my family, there's not so much time left, so I have to choose wisely.
After those two, there's not much time left. Real Madrid star Kylian Mbappe recently became a majority owner of French club Cannes, joining other pro athletes who've acquired stakes in soccer clubs. How much have you considered club ownership? I'm sure there's some teams back home that you've had an eye on.
I got an eye on them, but fairly, I haven't done these kind of investments so far. I know they try to aggregate capital and influence and athletes, and I got a couple of offers, but I haven't done it in the end because I think I stick to my investment strategy first and then build on top of that. So that's the idea. So maybe in a couple of years, but for now, also because I'm used to soccer in Europe and I understand the leagues and also the relegation part is a bit different to the franchise system here in America, so I'm a bit more skeptical about it at the moment. Let's see.
You know how the meat's made, right? So it can make you a little more skeptical. I understand. I understand. We talk so much about in sport modeling your game after a certain athlete, right? But not so much in business. Is there any athlete investors that you look at and you're like, wow, he's doing it right, or he or she.
I just read about Joe Montana and his venture firm, so I think he's doing pretty well. Ashton Kutcher, I've looked at his. I think he just raised a fund as well. So LeBron James is doing a lot of things. Also, I'm in touch with Kevin Durant's investment, 35 Ventures, trying to share deal flow a bit. So I try to build connections, build a network, and then hopefully get the good deals.
I love that. Maybe you'll reach out to Joe Montana too.
I should. I definitely should. Yeah.
As we wind down here, Mario, I want to point out something I saw on your LinkedIn page in your bio and your statement. You said life is bigger than the pitch. I thought that was really interesting. And how much have you just stressed to other players that sport isn't the end all be all?
I wouldn't say that I try to implement it with other athletes because I think everybody has to do his own experience, has to feel it, has to understand it in his way. Everybody has a different personal situation at home, on the pitch, off the pitch. So I just try to share it, and everybody who can resonate with it is happy to look at it and try to maybe take the good pieces for him. So that's how I view it and how I try to share it with the audience and the people and followers. And everybody has to decide for himself. If he wants to start young. I mean, also Kylian Mbappe is I think the youngest owner of a club now. So he started very early. There are some who start I think after their careers. So the range is huge.
No, I just thought I really like that. That was it's a great metaphor for sure. And I like to do this with guests on the show. If you can leave us with a gem, just throughout your early investing career, what you've learned, what's the best business lesson you've learned?
I would say when I look back, I make different decisions what I've done when I started 5 years ago. So to understand, for me, it was that you need expertise, that because for me as an athlete, I don't have the time, I don't have the expertise now. So I think how important it is to have a good, trusted network and team. I think that's crucial for everything, but especially also for different asset classes.
Love that. That's translatable, right? From the pitch to in the boardroom, right? Having a team around you. Well, there you have it, folks. Thank you for watching Business Beyond the Game. This was angel investor, tech entrepreneur, and German soccer star Mario Götze. Mario, appreciate you, man.
Thank you so much. Thank you.